Life is actually a video game. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of my new podcast, The Reality, by me, Reya Singh. Throughout this new podcast, you will find diverse topics of all types of spirituality, ranging from the rules of the universe to the actual science and structure of the universe. Everybody is living life almost blindly. Some of us believe in some God, some of us have a different belief, but we all don't know the true purpose, the true creator, because there are so many ideas out there. And if you want a sense of purpose and a sense of meaning to the life that you are living daily, stick around to find out. Not only will we be talking about topics such as the truth of the universe and how our life really works, but we will also be talking about topics such as astral projection, lucid dreaming, manifesting, how to get on a bigger, more powerful scale in your own life, how to attract everything you want, big or small. Think of this podcast as your way into becoming a true spiritualist. Now, most of us know karma as the rule of life. What goes around comes around, you get what you deserve. All things come with a price. This is not just a simple principle of life, but a part of a huge game that we need to start seeing. Let me explain. Many people say that the best way to connect to God and to be spiritual and connect with the world is to be good to others, to show kindness to the world. While this may be a good way to show gratitude to all the things that you have in life, to live properly with the world and be able to collaborate and correlate with everyone, it is not the way to live according to the universal game. There are only two decisions that people who have truly understood the universal game take: meditation until enlightenment or complete, utter solitude. Why is it that everybody who's considered to be a true meditator, a true yogi, a spiritualist, somebody who's actually connected to the universe, either spends their entire life meditating or in complete isolation? Think about it. Both of these things have one common factor: nothingness. And a state of nothingness is the hardest thing for any human to achieve. Now, what is it that these people realized that made them choose this life of nothingness? They realized the way to play God's well thought out game is to either play the game till the end or refuse to play the game at all. When in the real world, we are bound to make some mistakes. Even as the most down-to-earth, nice, giving beings, we are bound to make some mistakes. We're going to cross somebody's path who's going to not like us, who's going to feel that we hurt their feelings in some way, and we're going to end up creating bad karma. Throughout your life, no matter what you do, what you say, you will end up causing pain for someone out there. When making mistakes, we might think that they don't affect us because that was not our intention. When we hear that we upset someone, we think that that's not what we went to do, so we think it's completely fine, that we are forgiven because we made this mistake and we really didn't mean it. It didn't come out of our character. But karma holds a record book. Unintentional or not, your name is going down in the book of karma. And once your name goes down into the book of karma, there's a label that says to be determined, and you must fill the price. You must pay the fines in order for it to vanish. And throughout your lifetime, you're gonna end up marking up that karma book way too high for any return. You're gonna have so many mistakes made and so many people hurt that there's gonna be so much karma in this record book that there is no way of coming back. There will be many times where you do good deeds, where you help someone, you make someone happy, and some parts of that karma gets erased away. It balances itself out. But we end up making so many mistakes as humans that our good deeds are not able to balance out everything we've done intentionally or even unintentionally. And when leaving this lifetime, if there's anything left to your name, anything you owe to karma, you will be returning back to fulfill whatever fine is left as another person in a different lifetime. When these yogis and meditators realize that no matter what they do with their time on earth, they're going to end up creating some kind of karma, some kind of bad karma that marks up their record book, as humans on earth, they decide to literally isolate themselves in order to not make any good or bad karma. completely escape the game. They actually surrender themselves to God and God's game. They find their way to points and places of earth where nobody can be found. No animals, not even like bugs, in order for them to completely hide themselves from any type of interaction that might make them cause bad karma into their lives. They grow their own food. They find their own resources. They completely and fully support themselves in order to not even create any karmic favors that they might have to repay once they're in a different life. Even when you think you are borrowing something from someone or you are taking somebody's favor, even if it's in light heart, you must repay the favor, even if it is to someone else. And when you can't see this book of karma, you can't see how many of these karmic assignments you have left, there is no way to know if you have done enough in order to not return back to this life. And the worst part is, if you do end up coming back, you come back with the same karmic load that you had in the last life without knowing it at all. So when you realize that there's things going bad in your life and you think, I'm such a good person, why are these things happening to me? I have done nothing to deserve this. Well, there is a life that you do not remember in the past where you created karmic bonds and you created karma in your record book, and you are carrying that same record book just with a different name. And now it's your turn to fulfill it in this new life that God has placed you back in. So when yogis take this isolation up to the mountains, to the forest, this is their way of telling God, I refuse to play your game. I will sit in nothingness and refuse to play your game in order to pass. Since they have created no type of karma that they need to repay, they ask God to be merged later in life without coming back, essentially escaping reincarnation. Though aside from all of that, it is the most hard to live in this nothingness, especially in this generation with all this overstimulation. It is so hard to be even able to sit for 5 minutes without producing any kind of thought or an urge to go complete something, do something, or tell somebody something. You may completely understand the game of God, but the biggest thing is that us humans always feel like we deserve some level of luxury. We always run after things like money and other life luxuries that we see around us in social media or from other people. We think that's what's going to bring us happiness in the moment without realizing what we need to do in order to not completely redo this cycle again in another life. And that is when the second option comes in, the second decision, the players of the game, the meditators. Many of you may know that in Hindu spirituality, it is known that if you unlock all 7 of your chakras, all the way up to the last chakra in your head, you have obtained full enlightenment, full knowledge of the world. You have now merged with God in a sense. Some people we know today who have done this is Buddha. These meditators, or the players of the game, have decided that they are going to unlock all levels of this game in order to merge with God without just sitting in nothingness. While meditation is a form of nothingness, they are still going through multiple challenges in order to unlock and unblock every single level, also known as the 7 chakras in our body. When people say that life is just a big simulation or video game, they're completely right. Even after learning about the game or realizing what this life holds, we might have a hard time accepting the truth and then going further on to be able to merge with God or the universe. These meditators come in and meditate and unlock all of their chakras, obtaining the knowledge that will help them understand and accept the truth of the game. Us humans have a tendency to not follow or do anything unless we hear something very accurate or see something very accurate. Well, the people who took to nothingness to isolate themselves gave up on that factor of our human characteristics and decided that they're going to live in nothingness, even though this may not be true, because they might not understand the life of the game or the game of their life because they have not meditated and unlocked all of their chakras to understand all the knowledge that the game gives you. But they still do it with the risk factor. Though the meditators or the players of the game decide that they do want to know what the game is about and they want to be able to accept it without living in nothingness for the rest of their life and risking a lie. But the biggest thing that meditation does is drop all the karma written in your record book at a way faster rate than you ever could doing good deeds in the world. Each of the 7 chakras represent something. Let's say like the 7 sins that we most popularly know. Each time you unlock a chakra, like passing levels in a video game, you must go through a challenge. For example, it is said that our ego sits at our throat, and we must cut the throat of our ego in order to level up to the next and the last chakra, which resides in our head, which also deepens full enlightenment. And once enlightened, you learn all the truths of the universe and understand your full purpose and the game. And what happens once you've cleared all your karma, learned what the game is and your true purpose? You win the game. You are done. And many people ask, what do we really learn when we get enlightened? What does it mean to receive all this knowledge that we really don't have now? Does this mean just unlocking your brain to a higher potential, having superpowers? What does it mean? I want you to imagine this scenario. You're standing in a really big warehouse. Everything is completely pitch black dark. This warehouse contains lots of different things, but all you can see is the exact place that you're pointing the flashlight in your hand. So when you're pointing this flashlight in your hand to different places in the warehouse, you're seeing just that one circle of light that is pointing directly at the object you're looking at. But all you know in life is seeing through the light of that flashlight. This is how you're navigating your day-to-day life. You think you know everything about the world around you, but you are currently only looking through that one circle of light where directly that flashlight is pointing. You think you have seen everything in the warehouse because you are pointing your flashlight at places that you directly want to see. Now you think you know everything, you've seen everything because you've looked at everything you want to see with that small point of view of your flashlight. So when becoming enlightened, it's like turning on the lights to the entire warehouse. You start to see and learn things that are way beyond any human experience. Many people who have become enlightened, who have felt that their kundalini has rised, or they even have had a near-death experience, said that they saw colors and objects and things and feelings that are indescribable, that have never been felt on earth by anybody before. There are all these colors on our spectrum that we see every day. But if there was a color to be found outside of the spectrum, none of us right now can imagine it or even be able to begin to experience it. So that is why when anybody is enlightened or has become fully knowledgeable to the game and to the world and to the universe, cannot come back and tell us everything because there is abundance of knowledge that comes with being enlightened. And they also learn that these topics and experiences are unexplained to the normal brain, to the normal eye, to the normal ear. God has created a game to be individually played, and there is no way to pass it unless you play it yourself or refuse to play it individually. You can take it in a quite literal sense when somebody tells you being spiritual is a completely personal and isolated journey. Enlightenment is not only the way to win the game, but it is a gift given for winning the game. The set of instructions to this game have been spread across the entire planet that we live on. Maybe in some religious books, in languages that we're too lazy to decode, some in riddles. We've all heard it somewhere or another. We all fall into the lore of our religion and what deity did or what God did, but we fail to realize that all gods have left some kind of instructions to this game in order to achieve the same thing, merging into God and becoming a being of God. And the best way to be able to prove that karma is real is the fact that when we come into our lives, even as kids, sometimes we experience hardships and struggles. Even though we are just kids, we did nothing to deserve it. That is because we carried this karma from a past life. Maybe in a past life, we allowed a kid to struggle, or we made a kid feel a hardship. Now as a kid, we are receiving the same struggles. This proves that karma is real, and if you do not fulfill your karma in a past life, you will be coming back to fulfill it as a different person without the memory of it. In the oldest scriptures to time, in the oldest language, Sanskrit, it is written that life is just a lila of God. Lila meaning play, game. And if we look at meditation and this nothingness as a point of view in science, we can see that we are made of atoms. Make up matter, then there's molecules and things like that. In the end, everything is made of energy. And what is energy made of? Nothing. Topics in science tell us that we are essentially made of nothing. Our bodies do not define us. We are pure consciousness. These are things that we hear on a day-to-day basis through quotes, religious books, even people telling us that you are not your body, you are pure and abundant consciousness. You are defined by the personality in your head. Though we still go on trying to be likable, trying to be beautiful, make something out of ourselves, running after money, even though we know none of this defines us, and we are going to be back to struggling again and again and again with this never-ending cycle. Throughout our lifetime, first we struggle to live as kids, to learn as kids, to adapt as a younger being. Then once we get older, we run after things like money, being likable, being powerful, getting a house, getting a car, being this amazing person and succeeding in life more and more and more. And in our old age, we are back to struggling to just live, have a quality of life, be rid of sickness. Again, to the point that we were at once we were born. When we're born, we are so dependent on our mother or our father, trying to live and trying to adapt to the world. And again, in our old age, we're back at the same cycle, adapting to the new life and the new body that we have now, trying to live without being dependent on other people. And even while knowing and seeing this cycle in our family and with other human beings, we still decide to run after things like money and virtues that do not make sense with the actual game of life, with the actual values that we have heard and learned from other people. To think about it, losing the game is just as easy as saying something bad to one person once, and then you are going to be back in the next life repeating this cycle all over again. So you fought your whole life to make something out of yourself, to make all this money that you're going to end up leaving behind just to live that life all over again as somebody else, and forgetting and not even knowing the last person you were in the other life that you lived and failed. And I'd say that this life of running behind one goal and then another goal and another goal is a game that we also created. But in the chaos of it all, with all these people in the world, we just decided that this is the true game of life. We never want to go out there and learn what is true, what is not. What do I really need to be doing in order to fulfill my life purpose? Some people think that they will make this huge creation or leave a huge impact in the world by doing all these good deeds or creating something fantastic like an invention, but they don't realize that is not the purpose of life. God sent you on this earth to play multiple levels of a life, either living in nothingness or meditating and devoting yourself to the universe in order to pass and never have to play the game again. But what we are doing is creating another separate game of our own and playing it in different rules each, some doing good, some doing bad, some living their life as a completely different being, some being very down to earth. And in the end, we think, oh, this person isn't living life correctly, I am. But we don't realize we all are doing the wrong thing. We decided one day that being a winner means becoming powerful, successful, a lovely person to others. But winners do not play the game over and over and over and over again. The home that you live in and claim as your own today will one day be someone else's. The money that you squeeze tightly in your bank account will be somebody else's one day. The people in your life that you think are yours right now will be somebody else's one day. So everything in your life is temporary, yet you're putting all this effort behind it, all this life of yours behind it, even though there is someone or something from years ago, something so powerful telling you, if you live in nothingness or you pass the levels that I have created, you will never have to do this again, and you will find bliss and peace way beyond any money or people can ever give you. You may be thinking, This is the way to live life. You're telling me all this, but I need to make money. I need to make connections in order to survive in life. That is the standard that has been created now. You need to have connections in the world and money and assets in the world in order to be able to survive successfully. But who created this system? Who created the system to climb up this hierarchy in order to live the most successful and happy life? We created the system, and because we've all just been running with it, we've learned it and we've programmed it into our mind from the start, we blindly trust it without exploring any other options. And I know if you're watching till this point, you are interested in learning, or maybe you have already started learning or already know this concept. But there is such a small amount of people who understand the game of life that it is not enough. It's not impactful enough for us to change as a full society. From the start, since we were infants, we've been reprogrammed and programmed and programmed to do many different things that we see as basically reflexes now, such as we eat with a fork, we drink soup with a spoon, we walk in a certain way instead of on all four of our limbs. We talk while moving our lips this way. Many different things that we have adapted into our lives and see them as normal, like extremely normal. See them as the only way to go. And growing up, excelling in school, getting a job, going to college, making money, being successful, being nice to others, are all things that we have created in order for us to feel we are doing something successfully. We are successful. It is kind of like a mask that allows us to blindly walk through earth while feeling safe. How can we ensure that everything we are doing is correct, since we created all these characteristics that we see as a normal human life? We accept it. We move on. Everybody's doing it. I should be doing it. He's doing it. I should be doing it. But who knows if we have not been generationally wrong? We all have a different sense of God. We all do. But all gods say one thing. The most important thing to do is devote yourself to God. The most important thing to do is to live in a life of nothing but God. And when we think of God, we think of this person that we need to pray to and devote and love this person. But God is also just an energy. It is an energy that is also created out of nothingness. So when God says to devote yourself to God forever, and that is the best way to live, God is telling us in all these different forms that we must do nothing and live with a life of nothingness in order to be able to pass the game of life. With all the things going on around the world, with all these multiple personalities that we live around, so many different types of people who are sensitive in different ways, we cannot take the risk to create bad karma, which you will if you step a foot out your door every single day. The best and only way to live once without coming back again and again, without it being intentional, is to live with nothingness. Our Creator has left us with these books, scriptures, words, texts to tell us the instructions to His pre-written game that allows your destiny to be played out the exact way He wrote it. And we are doing nothing about it. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of The Reality by me, Reya Singh. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want about your experiences with the universe, your spiritual experiences, and how you want to take your spiritual journey to a different level. Our upcoming topics will be about how to directly communicate with your subconscious mind and how to directly communicate with God. And lots of other topics like these will make you a pro in your spiritual journey. Feel free to leave all your spiritual experiences and questions in the comments. I hope you enjoyed.